Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As the camera is turned around, you can already see that this is going to be a different type of video. Yes, I'm going to be going over the MCP200 Qualcomm. With that being said, if that's not what you're into in borderline instructional videos, go ahead and click off now, because I don't know how thoroughly brief I can be. This is going to be very, probably long-winded. I don't know. The last time I tried to film this, it was 9 minutes. So just bear with me. Anyway, this does come with a mount. If you're a company driver, then they'll go ahead and mount it for you. It also is hardwired into your tractor, hence why they have this wiring here. So that way doesn't move around when you take it from this mount. And the only time you'll take it from the mount is, I would say, if you're in the passenger seat or anything like that. If you're teaming, depending on the design, there's some designs where they have this component on both sides, so all you got to do is just lift this first part up. It'll stay mounted, and then just type whatever it is that you're going to end up typing. But you can't do that when you're solo. You got to park somewhere and just type, either using a digital keyboard, which is here, or the keyboard underneath. So now that I got those two things out of the way, let me talk about the indicators. I'm gonna start here first and then go into the macros, because I have a lot of ground to cover with that. So to start off, we have our warning sign right here. That's what I call it. So in the event that something goes on with your logs, or you end up having a critical event or anything like that, then this is going to start flashing red. And right next to it is going to be your internet connection. I almost forgot what that was. Your internet connection. It actually coincides with this here. So when you're using your navigation system, then you will be able to see how your navigation system is cycling, or how the internet connection for your navigation system is cycling. So if your connection is going out, then it's going to start blinking amber. So orange, that's what color it's going to end up being. Now right next to it is going to be your email, your indicator for any sort of emails that you end up having. It coincides with this button here. Also, this coincides with this. Just wanted to point that out. And you actually have two home buttons. Again, you can choose between whether you want to use the digital keyboard or the hardcover keyboard or the hard case keyboard, whichever one. And then right next to this particular button, or this indicator, I don't know why I call it a button, you have the speaker. Now, this button is what you would want to use when you want your messages to be read to you, because as I mentioned, as a solo driver, you cannot read, you cannot interact with the Qualcomm at all. It's just going to go to the DOT clock. That's what it's going to end up doing. So there's also these buttons here, so you can go up, down, to the side, left, right, and then this is to confirm. This is to back out. This button so far has not done anything. I'll play around a little bit more with this button and see if it does anything. I'll just enter it in the comments. This is to increase, decrease your sound right here, and this is to adjust the brightness. Now, these buttons down here, because I'm really missing a lot of the details, I didn't realize everything that I missed. But when you're on your navigation, there's a few nifty things that you can do. You can end up reading it like this. You can press on the I, and it could break down everything that you need to do step by step. When it's at night, you can end up changing this, or obviously that last button is to turn it down. So that's the cool thing about the whole entire navigation system. But I'm gonna go ahead and go over to explaining those macros for you guys. I know I'm all over the place right now. So your daily macros that you will end up using are going to be your 1 and 2. So arrived at shipper and loaded call once you get your load. 3 and 4, which is going to be for if you have multiple loads. 5 and 6 is if you have a single load. Even if you have a multiple load and you're on that final one, then what you're going to do is you're going to do your arrived at final, and then you're going to do your empty call when you no longer have that load on you, whether it's a preload or whether it is a live unload. Next is going to be 7 and 8. 7 is going to be for when you want to see how much you're going to get paid. 8 is going to be for when you want to take some home time. Now with the company that I work for, you can take up to 4 days. All you got to do is enter in your driver code, the location, where you're going to go. You want to make sure that you plan it out at least a few days in advance before you go, so that way they can surely get you home. 9 is going to be for when you want to accept the load. You're going to enter in your trip number. You're going to press yes, no, or counter. Counter is basically meaning you're really just going to oppose the time that they want you to either pick it up or drop it off, mainly if you want to pick it up. So that's what you would end up using if you know that you are going to end up being on your 34 or your 10 or something like that, and you got to pick it up at a different time. That's what it is that you're going to want to use. The next one is going to be planner message. This is what you're going to end up using when you want to get a load. Requesting directions. That's for plan that you have and you just need specific directions. Directed message is going to be when you need to talk to somebody directly, obviously. And I forgot, the free-form, it's kind of like a CC. So when you want everybody to see the message, free-form. So okay, so here are the ones that you got to do. 22, when you are running late on an order number. So you just enter all this information and let them know what's going on. Okay, so here's the terminal directions. So this is obvious. It's mainly dealing with the consignee and the shipper. So 23 is when you need to request directions pertaining to your shipper and your receiver. 24 is going to be terminal directions. I knew that there was a terminal directions one. All these other ones, like 25, 26, when you're in training, then you got to do 27. 28 is if you wanted to end up getting in advance. 29 is when you want to get a personal advance. 28 is for a company advance. Now 30 and 31 will help you when you are over the road. This is something that I definitely recommend you utilize as much as you possibly can, because there could be loads for you. Again, mainly if you're over the road. So this is if you wanted to go ahead and select whichever available loads there are. If you found one that you wanted, you get 3 offers, then you go ahead and let them know. This is kind of like the trainee login, but it's once you upgrade that you got to go ahead and do that. In terms of All these other ones don't really have to do too many of those. Now this 40 is for lumper. That's the one I was looking for. 40 is for lumper. And that's what 40 is for. And I'm trying to remember all the ones that you need. 47, you're going to want to check to make sure that you're getting paid within the time that you are. 52 is if you've had an accident. 55 you would end up having to worry about. And then the rest of it really just pertains to different divisions. So that's really all there is to the macros. So now I'm going to go ahead and get over to the hours of service. All right, now I'm in sleeper berth. These are my hours here. So this is where you can see how much time you actually have. This is how to certify your logs. This lets you know how much you've been driving. And I'm not sure when I'm going to get hours back. I'm going to have to check later. But these two right here lets you know when something is actually in this field, when you're going to get hours. This is your recap. So recaps are after you finish your 70 and any time that you accumulated within that week starts coming back to you. So this is going to be your performance performance monitoring. They're really big on idle here, so their goal is at least 30. Or at least my team's goal is at least 30. I believe really it's 50, but this here is the most important thing. Messaging. And that's about it. So the scanning, media manager, trailer management just lets you know when the trailer has been disconnected. The web browser, don't really have to worry about. If you want to set an alarm clock, then you can. They have a lot of other ones that are actually grayed out. There are settings to where you can calibrate it, and just in case your cursor is acting weird, then you just go to displays and then you go to calibrate, and then it's going to prompt you to end up following the arrow. Let me recalibrate this. So go here, go here, go here, go here, and it's going to do something. And yeah, that's how that works. You can change the time zone if you needed to, change the volume, speakers, change the language if you needed to, and then
home, messaging, web browser, critical
that's
event reporting.
About it for the Qualcomm.
Home,
I hope that this
messaging.
video was helpful for some of y'all. If it wasn't, then I know I'm going to edit this video. You probably wasted at least 14 or 15 minutes of your life. My bad. But I'll see you on the next one.